Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how a player turn a 20 euros buy-in into a 14,000 player field. And more importantly, we are going to break down some hands that could seriously improve your tournament results. I'm Luna, passionate about poker tournaments, and I help ambitious players take their game to the next level. I actually played this very tournament live on stream and made it all the way into the top 50. I've got extra reads and insights on the final table players that you won't find anywhere else. Stick around until the end. I will walk you through the exact hands that change everything in this final table, and I will show you how to apply them in your own games. Let's dive in. Okay, the first hand of this final table, Matt is going to open with jacks. It's normal, and then we are going to have folds from everyone. It's really weaker hands that will not even defend. Clem is always going to open here. We are on Winamax. It's a tournament with 14,000 people at the start of the tournament. Now there are only 7 players left. Open here, we are going to have a fold from everyone. Ace-3 suited is really too low here. Maybe the bottom will be around Ace-10 suited, I think. And then Girou has it's a French football player. Girou has a decision here. He can either 3-bet or then go all in straight away. Both options are really fine. I prefer to go 3-bet size because I think it's going to make Clem make more mistakes with a 3-bet size. So I just decided to go all in directly. But I think it's also okay to choose the option. Clem here is going to open. It's a bit wide, but he's the chip leader and he's covering even the big blind from a relatively big amount. So I think it's really okay to open this one. And I like in general chip leaders to be really aggressive. It makes a huge difference, and it's really puts all the pressure on the other opponents. Here, Ace King off is going to go all in all the time. There's no other options, and it's going to be a fold from the other players. We'll just do a quick recap on the level and the players that we are going to analyze today. So here you can see. So first, I will show you Girou. So we have 3,000 tournaments that he played already on this account. What we can look on those statistics is that he maybe doesn't have a good strategy here in early game. Normally you should have around 3% maximum early burst, so it means that he really has to refine his strategy in early game of the tournament. And then also he's not really able to finish in the top of the tournament in the last people remaining. So I think maybe he doesn't have the strongest skill of the players here on the fundamental table. Here, Dorothea is quite more impressive. He already plays more expensive, average buy-in 30 euros, sorry. Here he finishes way more in the final stages of the tournament. So we will check him out, but I think he's going to be really a good player. Here, PT, we don't have any info on him. Less than 1,000 tournaments in general. I don't analyze these box stat. I don't analyze the statistics of my opponents with this tool. Here we have like 500 games on this guy also. It's not going to be enough. Clem here we have 1,000, so which is roughly the limit that I used to take some guesses about the levels to try to understand their statistics. Here we have a player that really finishes way more often in the end of the tournament, so I think he's going to be among the best here in this tournament. I'm Venom. He doesn't have such a quite good start on his pseudo. But after average buy-in 40 euros, it's a bit normal. It's not. It's decent results. It's not really conclusive about his level, and he finishes quite often in the end of the tournament. So I will check him out over the long term. Is Matt Jack here? Matt Jack. He has also one of the most impressive statistics here in this table. He finishes often in the top 3% of the tournament, so we will see if he's going to be able to make the difference here this final table. Here we continue. Pocket sevens, we have a bit of a decision. It's really difficult. Are we going to be called by 6s or 5s if here we jam? Or is it in value or in bluff? It's not really clear. So I like the way that he decided to fold here. And here Matt Jack has a slight decision. Normally here, ace queen off, out of position with this stack depth, we prefer to flat. I think we are not even we don't have a hand that really wants to 3-bet bluff or 3-bet in value, so we prefer really to flat. He decided to 3-bet in value. I'm not a huge fan of his play, but why not? And after PT here, he decided to call in position. I think it's the standard play. And then we have a jack high flop. Mad Jacks decided to continue betting. I like the way. I think it's better than giving up already. So he's continuing with his story that he has over pairs, that he has the best hands possible. And PT normally with this sizing should call. I think in final table he should at least float. For now it's called just not fold directly. It's a bit too weak to fold directly. I decided to fold, but yeah, it's not really the best strategy. Something also that I see a lot of my students do wrongly is that they don't take into account the amount, the importance of the bounty here in those tournaments. And here we can see that the maximum bounty, for example, is this guy Nono, and he has a bounty of 900 in. So it means in average we are going to take 900 on his head. We are going to win 900 euros if we eliminate him. If we eliminate him. And here I did the calculation already. I did all the work, so you can see the value, the real value of those eliminations of those bounties, and you can really see how it's going to affect also the strategy of the game. So, for example, we had 14,000 players here at the start of the tournament, and we have 20k stacks at the start, 20k chips. To start the tournament here. We have also something you can have the total amount of the chips here in play are so 280 million. Then you have to multiply this to know the value of the Nono of his bounty value. You have to multiply by his bounty, so 858. Sorry, it gives you 240 billion. Once you have this value, you need to divide it by the sum total of the money that is still at stake in the tournament. So you have to add all the values of the remaining price that are in the tournament that I put right under my camera here at the right. But also you have to add all the values of the bounties still in play. So when you add all those values, you get roughly 40k here, and you divide the value before by 40k, you get 6 million, and then you have to divide by the value of the big blind. If you have difficulties here doing all this calculation of the bounties, it's really important in this style of tournament, in bounty tournaments. It will make a huge difference, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 sometimes, or even more if it's a big tournament, euros or dollars tournament difference in your results. So you really need to calculate them and know precisely how much they weigh in the strategy of the tournament. So we will go back to the analysis here. I see here Girou, he can open, but I prefer not to open too wide on chip leader. So it's going to affect our opening range and make it a bit tighter. I see here same. I think it's good to fold, and Clem decides to open here with 9-8 off. He could have gone all in a part of the time also, but if he really understands that Nono is really I would say passive in big blind, maybe you can just open there and can also generate massive amounts of folds with the big blind. We have to see other players here fold here, or Clem can always open, I think, here, and PT is going to defend. He's decided to c-bet with 1/3 stack. Why not? It can be a strategy here. PT decided to stick around with 1/over. It's the standard play normally in cheap EV, but when we are late in the tournament with ICM, I think it's also okay to go fold sometimes. I decided to call, and then at the river, PT decided to transform to bluff his hand. He's never going to win at showdown. There's always at least SI in the range of Clem, so I really like the way he transformed. The sizing is also coherent with a 9 or a 7 if he wants to bet a 7 sometimes. So I really like his play in general. Here he decided to open call. It's never a fold here. And he decided not to bet at the flop. Why? Because at the flop you're not going to be called by so many hands. You block most of the of the value range, or at least the kings and the queens of the opponents. So it's better to check, and you can take everything in two streets, turn and river. I decided to check. Then at the turn, I think the best play is to go start betting now. He started to go half pot. I think it's the best play here. Dora already has a decision here. It could call, it could fold. I like both options. It's going to depend. It's really if we think that PT is going to bluff enough in this spot. So I decided to call, and then at the river we have a easy fold here with Dora. Fold here, we have a jam, and Girou decided to call here. Normally those types of pots, they are really sensitive to the amount of the value of the bounty. Here the value of the bounty is roughly one big blind, two big blinds compared to what we did the calculation just before. So here it's going to be two big blinds. There are some software that can help you to analyze the game after the tournament for your next games. For example, with Equilab here, you could find how if you could put inside all the information that you have about the opponent, his strategy, which hands do you think is going to jam. Then you can have the equity that you could have with 10-8 suited against his range. And normally here, I think it's going to be relatively close. I would say it's a fold, like a close fold, but I would fold here. Decided to call, and he directly had a 10 on the flop, so he won. 860 euros. It's quite a good result for the average KO, average bounty that he could have won on the opponent's head. Opponents by eliminating the opponents. Here we have fold. PT could open part of the time. It's majorly here a fold. Most of the time it's a fold. Limp here, raise. I don't really like this raise. I don't know if it's in bluff or in value. It's not really clear. I don't think you want really to take some risk, or you want to increase the size of the pot against a guy that is covering you in a final table. So I prefer to, if he just called or check back here on the blind vs blind. Here Clem is standard open. Here we have folds from everyone. Open here. Call from Clem standard here. He decided to go half pot on this flop. Normally it's flops that we are going to see bet for 1/3 of the pot, 1/4 of the pot if there's a lot of pressure, ICM pressure. So I don't really like his sizing. I think it doesn't make the risk reward as compelling. So I would have I think I would have just gone for 1/3 or 1/4 sizing, and I think it's going to get the best risk reward for this display. Open here. Now he decided to limp. I really don't like here his strategy. I think he wanted to limp because he wanted to play against Nono, and he wanted to open his range, but you're not supposed to limp in general in final table. The only there's a bit of situation where it's going to happen, but normally it's going to lose you hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars to limp too much. So I really don't like, even with my students, I really don't like them to do this. I prefer in general if they avoid. There are certain cases where it's really useful, but it needs to be really precise. So here it's not a case where it would be relevant. I think because of the amount of the bounty of Nono is not really important. He is going to have a bounty of maybe 3-4 blinds now that the blinds are going up. Maybe his bounty elimination is worth maybe three blinds, so it's not going to make a huge difference. Clem here, he decided to ISO. I think it's the best solution, and Girou decided to call. He cannot do anything else. Check. He decided to check. I don't really like to check of Clem here on SI board. It's going to be a board that is going to see bet at high frequency, even with all his bluffs. So in general, stay consistent with your bluffing range, or don't try to be that smart and not check on this board. It would make more sense, I think, just to see bet or range 100% on this board for a small size. And turn Clem decided to go for 2/3 pot. Why not? It's a dynamic board. It's better not to go under half pot. I think everything between a half pot and 2/3 pot, I would say it's okay here. And Girou decided to fold directly because it's going to really to be a 6 pot. I think his follow is a bit tight, but considering that most of the bluffs of Clem are going to c-bet on the flop, it makes a lot of sense to fold directly those middle pairs that are going to be really it depends. If you're able to withstand the pressure at the river, then you can decide to call also at the turn. But it's not going to be easy once you decide to limp and you decide to call on ISO in final table. That's why I recommend all my students not to do that in a final table. It can cost you hundreds of euros, sometimes thousands even. So it's really, really difficult. Open here in Venom all the time. And here, PT, I would like him to 3-bet. If it decides to 3-bet, normally it's going to be seven big blinds in general. Otherwise, I prefer to call also this hand because we have one player really short than us. I don't like this sizing. Decided to check on this board, on this really drive board, and I'm Venom decided to bet directly. I thought, I don't know if he's in bluff or in value. I don't really understand. But he decided to call here. And river, I'm Venom decided to check. I think he's almost never good here. So I really don't like his that he didn't transform his hand. I would maybe you can do like third pot on the river just to make all the SI fold and try to have a fold some of the 2x that could have called. Also maybe if he called some 2x on the flop. So I don't really like his decision in general. His line doesn't make a lot of sense if you want to really win the pot. He's not going to have the win at the showdown most of the time. Majak here that faces a 3-bet. Good 3-bet position for Clem. He has a great spot. He's chip leading. He's in position. He really puts pressure on the other components. I really like it. And Majak has a small decision here. He can call. He could go all in. I prefer to go call because I think it's a bit too much to go all in. But he decided to go all in. It can be also choice. Depends on how you perceive Clem and how you think he's going to be aggressive enough to take the spot lightly. Check by Clem, I think, is really important here on a really dynamic board. We don't really want to c-bet for small size here with a hand. He decided to call at the turn. It's the great decision. And Majak has a decision at the river. Does he want to continue with his bluff or does he want to end his bluff? And he decided to go all the way. I really like his sizing. I really like the spot. I really like everything that he did in this line. I think he's really representing the type of hands that he could play, like a jack, sometimes some weak, some straight draws. I really like this sizing. I really like his strategy, and he made Clem for the better hands. So it's really a good play. Check, stab, okay, here it's normal, and Majak has a small decision. Does he want to second barrel or he wants to check? I think both decisions are really fine. Decided to second barrel for half pot. I don't really like the fact that he's not going to be polarized. I think if you want to bet here on the turn, you want to be polarized around 3/4 pot. You don't really want to have a small sizing and to let the opponent float or to float most of the time with some draws. Okay, here we have folds. All in here, it's normal. All the SIs are going to go all in here. All here, there's no defense with those weak holdings. Girou sometimes could have flat here, but you really need to be careful out of position on the small blind here in final table. Maybe the hands the bottom hands that would have flat here would have been 5, 6s, 7s, 8 sometimes also. So maybe it's okay to fall here pocket 2s. I think it's the first decision that I would have taken. Majak here can decide to call. He decided to float here on the board. I don't really like. I think it's better not to float here SI. It's a bit weak from my perspective to float directly SI here on 1/4 sizing. But I don't want to be out of position and to be passive on the action and to be out of position. It's going really to be a spot that is really difficult to play at mad position here. Clem here has decided to second barrel, and I really loved his sizing. I think it's a really great decision here to go second barrel, and it's a really good sizing also. He's going to have a lot of SI in his range. He's going to have a lot of, it doesn't have to take to put a big sizing to put a lot of pressure on Majak's range here, and so he went for a big sizing on the river. I think it's a good exploit because most of the players will never be able to fold a ace here on the river. But Mad Jack, I think, with his hand on the final table, if he doesn't see enough bluffs in the clem range, I think it's the best idea here to go to fold this hand, even if it's it can appear to be weak, but I think it's the best solution here. Open here, open with a 9 ace suited. Okay, I like the defense by Clem that he's covering his opponents. And he decided to give up directly. I think I would have go for a cheap bluff here, maybe 1/3 in Clem's shoes. I think he really weak to really go all the way with 7 high and not try to bluff this hand, which is a okay candidate to bluff. Here is one of the most important hands of the tournament. Here, Girou decided to limp again to play against Nono. Clem here decided, so Matt decided to ISO. Why not with this hand? But I prefer in general not to ISO with this hand. I think it's too low. Then Clem decided to go all in on top of them. I think it's too low also. Maybe ace 10 suited would have been my bottom. Matt range is still appear really strong normally, and the bounty of Nono is not really important, so it's not going to make a huge difference here in the tournament. Nono decided to jam here with his hand. I think it's quite standard with his hand. And then pocket kings, you have to rejam. There's no other solution. And Mad Jack has a easy fold here. He's completely beat by the range of both other players. I think there's been like several mistakes in this play, but most of it I would say is Clem. Maybe. I think he thinks his hand is too good for this spot. I think maybe ace 10 suited would have been the bottom, or maybe ace 9 suited. And also it depends on which image do you have of Girou, but Girou really needs is tight. I think he's in limping range, so I don't think it's quite a good spot to go all in. But it's a bit tricky comes as a spot, so it's maybe okay to fold sometimes. Here, ace 2 off, I would have defended. Also, I had some info because I played against those players. I think I played against Girou, I played against I'm Venom, and if I remember correctly, and some of them really weren't that aggressive. Here, Clem decided to jam with ace queen off. I think it's the best play. You cannot really do anything else. Even if Matt doesn't have a good spot of opening, he's opening against one of the weakest players, Girou, who's going to really to not defend that well. So PT has a really good rejam here with queens, and he decided to do, but there's an ace on the board. Nothing to say on this part. There's no problem. Girou here, he should have jammed, but he decided to limp. This is a big mistake that I see a lot of players do. Some of my students, before they worked with me, they really did those errors. Those can cost a ton in final table. Maybe 1,000 in this final table, maybe thousands of euros if you don't master them. It's really much better to go all in here with this hand. Here I would have gone maybe all in some of the time, or at least I would have opened at the bottom, it's sure. And here we have a BVB situation. He called with Mad Jack. I think the best play here is to check raise to go all in directly with his hand. That is really vulnerable, and the run out is going to change a lot of the equities of both hands. Decided to call also at the turn. And what I really liked is I think Mad Jack could have got for a donk bet here at the river for small sizing, and decided to check. I don't really like his option, and I'm Venom. Really guessed well the hand of the opponent, and he decided to check back. I think it's really good move from I'm Venom. He really shows that he really understands that he's not anymore in value. Even if he has a straight, his straight is never good here, so it's much better to check back and to give up the spot. Here Girou has a clear open. He didn't take it. Good jam by PT. Okay. Could have gone for jam directly, Girou, but it's okay also to limp jam. I don't really like the sizing of Mad. Best sizing normally here would be around 3, but against Girou, who's really a weak opponent, really weak and I would say, passive opponent. You don't need to be that aggressive to win a lot of money. All in here is really good. I don't like the limp also of Girou. It doesn't makes a lot of sense for me. This is normal. Jam directly. Open here. The flat of PT, I don't think it's standard here. At least I don't take them. Yeah, I'm not really good enough to talk about those plays. I don't take them personally. I don't think it's good enough, and I would have folded directly on this flop, even with 2 overs. I don't think it's going to realize enough equity in most of the cases. On this king, he decided to check, and I think here at the river, this so little to add to the pot to take you have just yeah, almost priced in here to call with SI. So I think I've called here. Yeah, it depends how you perceive the opponent. Here we have a clear fold. It's good from Girou could have opened here. I would have always opened in his shoes. Check here. I think it's a good option with aces to check. But I really don't like the fact that he decided to raise here on the turn. I think the best play here is normally to call or to go all in, but to raise in position, it really is a really strong move, and you should really be aware of if you see those plays on your final tables or in general on your tables. In general, it's really a strong move, and it's never in bluff. Never in bluff. Good flat here is Ajax suited, and he decided to see bet. I don't really like the sizing, also a bit too expensive. I think on a final table, normally you should make your sizing a bit smaller, and so I don't really like here. Girou could have opened. I think it's the best option. Again, Girou here never fall from Girou. He really doesn't understand how you put pressure on a final table, and makes him do big mistakes. And here we are going to see the biggest mistake of the tournament by Girou. The biggest, the mistake that cost the most. And if you ever do this kind of mistake, just go in the link that is in the description. I will help you with your game. It can make you win time and money, but a lot of money, because you're going to lose a lot of money here, especially if you decide to go all in like he did. It's always going to be only called by value hands that are really crushing him. And it's never just a good risk reward here to go on in. It's the worst play of the final table that I've seen so far, and it's really going to show that this player is really not understanding how poker works and how this game is really meant to be played perfectly. C-bet here, perfect from PT. Majak that decided to flat with aces. It's really a good play. It's a really smart to go for flat sometimes with those hands. They are really not making that much more value with going all in directly. It depends if we estimate that PT has some bluff, then it's interesting to not go all in directly. And he decided to jam with 2 over. It's standard also play. It's a setup here. We cannot do anything. It's here also. It's a setup. You cannot go fold with pocket fours here. I think it's too good of a hand. Here, Girou at a really good spot of 3-bet. Normally, you should 3-bet the bottom of your calling range, and here it would be had been a really good spot, putting that much pressure on all the opponents, being the chip leader. He could have called also with 3s here. We see that he really doesn't seem to understand how this game is normally played. Here, Venom decided to call. It's really the standard. Both hands have been played really good in this blind hand. 160 euros here. Yeah, there's a lot of also my students don't know how to play blind when they come. It's really I would say maybe the most underestimated thing where you can make the most amount of money, because it's the biggest difference between the ones that play well and those that don't know how to play. So it makes huge difference over the long term. It can make you thousands of euros on the long term. Here, why not a raise with Clem? I think here it's standard. You could have raised also ISO also at the in Clem's shoes, but it's okay. I think also to limp his hands. Here it's open. Normally Girou should have defended, I think, to put maximum pressure when you're chip leading. You can also flat also and call more your big blind, and which he didn't decide to do. If you have any questions about any hands here in the tournament, then feel free to put a comment and I will answer it. And if you have like a big question, you need really help on your game, on your and you want to really to make your first 10Ks in profits in poker, or you really want to improve your game at the next level, then you can feel free to fill up the form in my description, and I will call you. I will send you a message to work if you want to work with me and to see if I can help you in your poker journey. Here it's okay. You could have stabbed directly. I think I would have stabbed, but it's okay to delay. Also, I like both options. Here it's a good open. Flat here with sixes. I think it's a good option because you don't want to go all in. Sometimes you don't want to fold those hands, so it's okay. Decide to stab one blind. It's perfect from a PT here. Really a good option. I would have preferred to raise here. It claims shoes, I think, with his gut shot. And normally you are not supposed to be too passive out of position. You're not supposed to really be out of position on the action, especially against the chip leader. So I prefer in his shoes not to be too passive. Then decided to call here. He could have gone all in also part of the time. Check. I like the check of PT. Here claim doesn't make any sense. I don't know if he's in value or in bluff. It's not clear. Really, I think it's a big mistake here to bet on the turn. It's really a play that he wants to buy the river for a cheap price, but it doesn't work at this stage. And also, each blind that you lose here or half blind that you lose is potentially like hundreds of euros or thousands of euros. So if you don't know why you bet, why you decide to bet those hands, they really don't make any sense to play like this. And here PT played perfectly, I think. It's really interesting how you did it. Girou could have gone all in here, and Mad, I think I would have called part of the time here, but it's not such an easy spot because PT can have also some really strong hands. Sometimes could have like aces, kings, queens. So it's not completely capped by his range. It could have the best hands here in this position. I like the stab here. Stand out here for every player. You see Matt really opens wide. Why not if we see that the players are not going to defend enough? Here he could have, I like the style. Here that's the second barrel. It just transforms his hand into a bluff. He has a good strategy against Girou. He's really too passive. So it's really a good strategy. Here I don't like the sizing of PT. I don't know if he's in value or in bluff. It's not clear. He could have gone for a check call also at the turn, so it's not really clear. And here he decides to transform on this ace. It's a good card. It makes a lot of sense. Why not go all in here? But maybe a 3-bet size could have induced more errors from the opponents. Here you could have gone all in, or at minimum you need to VP the hand. You need to play the hand. You are not supposed to fold here. And here he decided to call. I think ace 10 off maybe is a bit low. I would have called with ace jack off, and I think I would have gone all in pre-flop ace 10 off because I don't want to open call this hand. It's going to be too weak. But ace jack off or ace queen off, I could have gone. No, even those hands I would have gone all in directly. I don't really like the open call with this hand. I think it's too weak. And we are going to lose this player. You're not supposed to open call with those hands that are a bit weak when your opponent is not going to normally jam too much with weaker holdings. At least not any weaker holdings in non-suited hands. Yeah, we're going to continue. The end is going to be relatively fast. And we are going to go all the way here, never supposed to fall in Girou's shoes. And here, king 8 off, I'm not sure if it's the bottom here or if you prefer to call with king 9 off or king 10 off. It's really close. It's going to be really difficult to understand if it's the bottom here or if it's the too weak. Okay, now there's only 2 players left. And we are going to analyze until the end of this tournament. Let's see how it finishes. Okay, Lim here, he decided to check back. I like the call here in position. He decided to call so at the river. It's It's a good hand here, really good play by Girou. Majak, I think, doesn't have the good strategy against Girou because he doesn't understand how you should play against a passive player. I explain with all my students, but also I explain in my coaching how you should play against each type of player, and it makes a huge difference because you're going to win hundreds or even thousands of euros more just by knowing how you should deviate, how you should play against those type of players, how you're making most of the money against some of them. Here, I don't like the raise. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. He has a hand good enough just to call. So yeah, raise here, standard. It is a subet. Okay, you're never supposed to fall here in a heads up. Almost never in your when you're in position. So it's really, we can see that Girou never studied this part of the game, and makes huge difference. Also, I think you're never supposed to jam here. It's too low, or at least most of the players don't here. Also, it's a bit too aggressive to go all in here. I think you're never going to really accomplish much. I prefer to call here in position. He continues here. He decided to bluff. You can see a lot of hands here. If you have any questions on this part of the game, it's a part of the game only that you're supposed to really deviate against the with the information that you have on your opponent. So you're really supposed to make some adjustments with your knowledge. So it's not the most fun, the most interesting part to analyze on this final table because it depends too much on the image that both players have on each other. Here also the raise in position, as often it's way too strong of a move. We can see that both players never studied this part of the game, but Girou is a bit even weaker than Majak. Majak has some information about what you're supposed to do in theory, so it's a bit better than Girou. And here you're supposed to fall most of the time, almost all of the time. The thing is that you're in a 10 SPR, so there's only 2 blinds in the middle, and you have 20 big blinds behind. So with an opponent that weak, you're never supposed to call here. He made a big mistake, and this cost him his win. I think he could have won here just if he understood how to play against this kind of opponent. Maybe he lost 2-3k, and also maybe it happens to you if you always stuck here in 15 or 10th place and you don't know how to go to the first place or in the top 3. Then you're missing out on thousands of euros because this is where the most amount of money is in poker. If you like this video, don't hesitate to subscribe, share. I'm starting this new channel, but I already have a French channel with the same name. So if you want to check out some of the videos on this channel, on the other channel, you can check it out if you speak French. Otherwise, I will see you in another video. And if you have any questions, if you already want to work with me, if you want me to help you with your poker, with your winning more, losing less time on your mistakes, and just understanding more this game, then you can just fill in the form that is in the description, and we will book a call, and I will see if I can help you in your progress. Otherwise, let's see you in another video. Bye bye.